Wednesday, July 15th, 2015. A rookie correctional officer was performing his everyday duties when he would be brutally beaten to death. CO Timothy Davison hadn't even been on the job for a year and had started his corrections career later in life as a divorced father of two trying to support his family. The man he was escorting was a veteran of the Texas prison system with a history of attempted escapes and assaults on prison staff. In 2005, he was convicted of assault on a public servant, which added 45 years to his already life sentence. He had nothing to lose. At 9 a.m., Billy Joel Tracy was being escorted out of his cell in administrative segregation. Tracy slipped his handcuffs and turned on Officer Davison to attack. Tracy repeatedly slammed Davison's head against the tray slot, then tossed his lifeless body down the stairs. Tracy also sprayed OC spray within the unit, making it difficult for the responding officers to breathe. One nurse said of the injuries to the officer, "He was really disfigured, covered in blood. You couldn't recognize him. His face, you couldn't tell that much about him." After being transported to a local hospital, the trauma surgeon on duty described the injuries. His head was cracked like an egg. In November 2017, Billy Joel Tracy would face his punishment for the crime: death. He is now housed on death row at the Polunsky unit. This Texas prison is one of the most dangerous in the state. Today we'll be exploring the Barry Telford unit. Let's get into it. From the beginning, this prison was wrought with violence. In July 1995, the prison was open for business and transferring inmates to this new high-security prison, which was a tall task. A melee would break out on the prison bus, carrying 46 inmates. 4 would suffer injuries, but staff would be able to get it under control. The new prison cost taxpayers of Texas just over $70 million and would be situated on over 1,200 acres. The current capacity is 2019, with 299 security employees in charge of the custody and control of the inmates. There are 150 employees in other roles around the prison. While the prison is located in New Boston, Texas, a better point of reference would be Texarkana, which is about 30 miles to the east. Telford is the only prison located in the northeast part of the state. Just 2 years after the opening, William Spear and Annabelle Canales would kill fellow inmate Gary Dickerson. Spear was already serving a life sentence for a murder that he committed when he was just 16 years old. Canales was in prison at the time for a sex offense and was serving a 15-year term. They were found guilty and sentenced to death. The Aryan Brotherhood of Texas has left its mark on this facility. On April 1st, 1999, Lee Taylor, aka Tiny, stabbed and killed Dante Green in one of the unit day rooms. Taylor was at Telford for aggravated robbery and was serving a life sentence. He claimed that the act was in self-defense, but the jury didn't buy it and he was found guilty. Taylor also received the death penalty. He was executed by lethal injection on June 16, 2011. One thing about Texas is that they seem to really love the death penalty. The killings at this prison have continued over the years. In 2017, Pete Ayala was killed in his cell by his cellmate, Justin Williams. Ayala and Williams were both convicted murderers and serving life sentences. Williams wasn't indicted until 2020, and it appears the case is still ongoing. From 2013 to 2018, Telford had more inmate-on-inmate assaults than any other prison in the state. That is quite a telling statistic. While we highlighted a brutal murder of a correctional officer at the beginning of the video, there have been several other officers attacked. 2 officers were attacked by a high-security inmate after he was able to get out of his cell. A sergeant was stabbed in the shoulder and head, and another officer suffered lacerations. This occurred in July 2021. In a first for me, an inmate at Telford received a life sentence for throwing human waste on a correctional officer. Alonzo Gilbert Guerrero was serving a 4-year sentence when he covered an officer's hair, face, and clothing with his waste. Guerrero had significant disciplinary issues in prison. The prosecutor on the case said, "This jury heard the testimony of deplorable, dehumanizing, and dangerous behavior. Intentionally assaulting an officer by throwing feces in her face, and responded with an appropriate conviction and life sentence." We usually take a look at some infamous inmates at each prison, but let's take a look at some lesser known men that are housed here and their crimes. 2012, a man would walk into a Dallas police station and confess to killing his girlfriend. Police would go to their home and find the woman deceased. Christopher Worley was convicted of the murder and has a projected release date of 2047. He is wasting his life away in Telford. James Robinson was hoping to have a peaceful evening in May 2011, but his relatives were having none of it. Robinson asked his sister to turn down the TV, and when she refused, he shot her in the neck with a 12-gauge shotgun. Robinson would reload and shoot his sister's husband, but he would survive. He had been drinking all day, which likely influenced his poor decision-making. Our last inmate is also in prison for family violence. Cody Clymer pled guilty to killing his mother. The case started in 2016 when questions arose regarding the whereabouts of his mother. Police checked the home and found a large amount of blood, but her body was never located. Clymer had a history of violence and pulled a knife on his girlfriend prior to the disappearance of his mother. He'll spend his remaining days in Telford. Before we move on to a drug smuggling operation at this prison, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of my new prison profiles. A contraband smuggling operation was uncovered at the prison in 2014. A group of inmate kitchen workers were conspiring with a worker at the bread delivery company. Investigators at the prison were notified by a nearby elementary school that they had received a shipment of bread that also contained a large quantity of marijuana and cell phones. Following their investigation, it was determined that the delivery was actually intended for their next stop, which was the prison. 7 people would be indicted, including the delivery worker for the bread company. The owner of the company claimed no involvement and was never charged. District Attorney Richard Glazer said, "We know these things exist, but this was really sort of an intricate operation, very well organized." Over the last couple of years, several staff members at the prison have been accused of bringing contraband in. One employee even has been charged with possessing images of children on his cell phone. Kajana Wells was a corrections officer at Telford Unit. Following an investigation into Wells bringing alcohol and SIM cards into the facility, a cell phone was seized that was in his vehicle. The photographs were then discovered after a forensic examination. Another correctional officer, Matthew Adams, was arrested for bringing in paper sheets soaked in illegal drugs into the prison. Adams was working with an alleged member of the Bloods, whose contraband cell phone was seized, which revealed the illegal activity. Adams was allegedly known as Money Train to inmates. The medical staff at Telford are even in on the contraband smuggling. Deanna Spurlock was arrested in February 2023 after she was observed passing an inmate a package. A search of the inmate's cell found 7 cell phones, 2 bags of methamphetamine, spice, and various cell phone charges. We have now taken a look at the Barry Telford unit of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Thanks for watching. See you next time.